The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laws of Life, Empowering Entrepreneurs. This is our wonderful, wonderful weekly session. I want to tell you, thank you so much for joining us. Normally, if you haven't noticed, I don't quite look like Blanca, not today. Blanca is not able to join us today, but she left a big thank you and a big hello to everybody, and she's going to join us next time. What she wanted to share and make sure that everybody knew is there's so many incredible people and so many incredible events and causes and just wonderful movements all around us. And sometimes we get caught up and we get moving and grooving and schedules get mixed up before you know it. So in that context, I want to let you know today's going to be an incredible show. I've brought an incredible instructor. Oh, I'm going to abuse incredible. Don't worry. I'm going to tell you how incredible in a second. But I just wanted you to know that the show, in that beautiful Hollywood expression, the show must go on, it really, really does mean it. And it means it internally as well, because if you look at the laws of life, it's one of them. If you look at empowering entrepreneurs, trust me, technology issues will happen. Scheduling conflicts will occur. Anything and everything that could go wrong will go wrong. If you're looking at it in terms of sales, you will cost yourself sales. The people that you work with, your up and down people that will cost you sales. It's the way things go. So knowing that and really having the right mindset to be able to get through that, that's going to help empower entrepreneurs. That's why I'm so excited to bring you Maggie Perotin. She is an international business and high-impact leadership coach. She's the creator of the Dream Plan Do coaching model, strategic information specialist, also the creator of the Diamond Effect podcast. So in her world, internationally working with service-based entrepreneurs, specifically for tools around clarity on their business goals, on themselves, personally and professionally, to help them transform through that. Decade and a half making sure that she went through doing the podcasting, has an MBA from Jack Welch Management Institute, and is one of my fellow Canadians all the way over from Toronto. Let's welcome the wonderful Maggie.
Hi, Nathan. Thanks for having me.
Oh, wonderful to have you there.
Hi, everybody.
Maggie is one of our favorite instructors over at the Essential Academy. She's one of our newer ones. And so when you get involved in a crazy community like that, how has it been so far? Tell a little bit about your experience.
It's been great. There's definitely a plethora of opportunities within the academy to meet the instructors, to network, to really put your work out there and impact even more people.
Beautiful. Let's ask for a moment. Let's start you off and get people a 2-minute background tour. I added a little bit to it. If you could give us a bit more of what that story, what that journey looked like.
For me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How got to you today?
Yeah. So quickly, as you said, I'm a fellow Canadian of a dual citizenship. I'm an immigrant to Canada. I came here from Poland in 2005. I live in Toronto area. And, when I came to Canada, I started sort of my professional career in a new country, in a corporate world. I, have had a career in facility management industry for 13 years. I was a leader in that industry in many different positions, many different things. And 3 years ago, I decided to sort of take the skills that I've gained, also leadership skills and coaching, developing people, plus business operations, business development strategy, and help business owners really grow their businesses in a way that's not overwhelming, that's sustainable and strategic, so they can really enjoy growing their business, making the impact, but at the same time, not getting burnt out and overwhelmed. And what you said in the beginning was so fascinating, that yes, things happen and life happens all the time and show must go on. And especially when we have our business, ability to kind of manage that in a way that's grounded, it's calm, that's not overwhelming, that's not panicky. It's such a great skill. And I was just coaching one of my clients on this week. So serendipity.
I had a feeling we were talking to an expert, and that's why I said, and so Maggie is going to be able to help shed some light on that. I think that's very, very accurate. Let me ask you, so this is a new venture in the sense that you've taken decades of experience and in different sets from corporate life to then some extra online, well, not online, but otherworldly training and put it together and then formulated that. What did that process look like? Was it hard? Was it natural? How did that work?
I think it was both. It came sort of naturally, but also I'm not going to lie and say, oh, yeah, it was all effortless, because I think when you are making a decision of leaving a fairly stable corporate world, right, where you are succeeding as a professional and you have a career ahead of you, nobody wants to get rid of you or anything like that, and deciding, what, I need to spread my message in a different way, and I have something to say, and I want to share it with other people, and not really knowing, believing in yourself, but not really knowing 100% if that's going to turn out well. And, having a family and all those obligations that we all have, right? Mortgage, car payment, whatever. And it was a scary decision. It wasn't easy. So it was a little bit of both, right? I actually, the idea for my business came from a burnt out. So I did burn out 4 years ago in a corporate world for like situational. And at the same time, I'm grateful for it because it forced me to rethink how I want to continue with my life and my professional career. And that kind of moment made me realize that, what, I am super passionate about helping people grow and you really getting them to their best potential. And I was doing less and less in that in my corporate career. And what I was doing, I might have been good at, but it was stressing me out, rather than, when we have a passion and we do something, it actually empowers us. It gives us more energy. We're never tired out of it.
Yeah.
And so I married that, and my experience and actually love for a business. I think business is fun, it's strategic, it's creative, there's a lot of things you can do. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. So it was a bit of both. It was easy to decide what I'm gonna do.
Easy to decide, but hard to implement.
That's harder to implement and especially overcome the fear that comes naturally.
You know what I really like? Back when you, at the beginning of the answer, of your answer to the question, you had said that, there's no guarantee of this and stuff, but you've got all the same pressures from having the house and the mortgage and the kids and the family and, car payments and everything else. And I'm like, well, let's be honest. You're saying that, this is something that you have to deal with as a reality. The show's called Empowering Entrepreneurs. So if we're going to empower entrepreneurs, I'm like, let's empower you with the obvious. You do realize there's no safety and security in what you're doing. This is jumping off a cliff and building your parachute as you drop. Yeah. But let's be even more honest and more aware and say, well, why would it be different if you thought having a job would be any different?
Right.
There's no safety, there's no security.
It's truly not. Like, I really, as I was working myself through the minds and so on, it's really the false security, right? Because it's something, okay, we've gotten used to, let's say you had a job for 10 years, like me, 13, whatever, where you're getting a paycheck. And you've gotten used to, so your brain created this kind of shortcut, okay, I'm working, I'm getting paycheck, but you have no influence over how that company will go, whether they're thriving or not. You have no influence on many decisions that are being taken. And that, that burnt out made me realize, because part of it was decisions were being made without certain considerations. And then I was stuck implementing them without proper support, right? And that sort of led to that spiral. Whereas I actually believe, or I came to believe, that when you have your own business, you're actually more in control. Yes, there's a lot of uncertainty,
That's everywhere.
You're in control of your decision. You're in control of your actions and belief.
Yes.
And therefore, if you pursue that, it's as safe as anything out there in the world. And I truly believe that when you do that, like the results will come.
I believe that too. You got to depend on you ultimately. If you can go down what service or skill offering that you have.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, if you're going to break it down, ultimately you must be able to, in the shortest possible number of words, give to somebody who doesn't know you or what you do or have any way to measure you. Either I completely bring you joy or completely stop the pain.
Yeah.
Those are the two extremes. And some people are blessed enough to have some service offering that kind of does both in that sense. So being able to express yourself in those terms, that working with me is incredible because you'll get this, 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 and this. And you're like, yeah, that would bring more joy in my life. Okay. As compared to, oh, you know what? Working with me is going to make sure that, you stop all this discomfort and pain and suffering. So am I going to help you with the pain or am I going to help you with the joy?
Yeah.
I like the way that your program works, and I know I'm prefacing it because we're going to go to a commercial break in a couple minutes, but I'm prefacing it because it's a beautiful model where you really, really get to map out, okay, let's talk clarity. And the great thing is that when we're talking to new people, we've got to be clear about the what. What are we going to get out of this? What's in it for me? That's the number one thing they want to know. Then we've got to be really, really clear about the why. Why is now the best time to do this? Why you've gone through this several times? This isn't your first, look at this. You've thought of working on yourself before. You've thought of these kinds of concepts. You've been in places where you almost did this, but you didn't. Why now is the time to do it?
Yeah.
Between the why and the what, you're good. Every time they try to push you into the, but tell me how your program specifically does that. Well, if you knew how, you'd do it yourself, John. That's what you're paying me for. I tell you the how. Sign up here, and then here comes the how. And we make a joke out of it, but it's 100% correct. No, you pay for the how. But the what, the why, absolutely you need to have that clarity. So Maggie works with somebody, and she gets to start them off and say, okay, number one, do you have clarity on where you are and where you want to go? Yes, perfect. Do you have clarity on how to bridge the gap between the two? No, great. That's where we work. Do you have clarity on where you want to go? No. Great. That's where we work. Do you have clarity on where the hell you are? No. Great. We know where to start. So that's the beauty of Maggie's system, that entire spectrum of clarity is where you're working with. So playing with that, that's what we're going to talk about when we come back from commercial break. She's going to introduce her program and the incredible modality that it is to help you dive even deeper, to help you get your clarity. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go pay some bills. Quick commercial break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I bring to you, and if you're just joining us now, that's okay, but man, you missed some fun in the beginning. Let me tell you, we're dealing into deep, deep depths of awesomeness. We're talking to Maggie Perotin. She is an incredible international business and high-impact leadership coach. She's the creator of a coaching model that we're right about to get into, the Dream and Do coaching model. So as someone who is that strategic information specialist, that creator of her own podcast, and somebody who comes from the corporate world, took a look over at the other side in the coaching world, took a look at how to make all of that happen online, and in the last few years was able to put that together and create that as an international business. So let me reintroduce her that way and ask Maggie, tell us about, number one, what is the coaching model? And then two, a little inspiration and background for how you got to be there.
Yeah. So the model is called Dream Plan Do, and it consists of sort of 3 steps. And I believe that I think I've seen a lot of people actually miss the middle step. That's why it's there. So the dream is all about the ideas, the thoughts, and the beliefs, because anything we create in our lives and business and then starts with an idea, right? We have an idea, we have a skill, we're like, oh, how can we put that to help people and so on? I'm going to start a business, let's just say, right? And that's where it starts. When that idea comes from the belief, then that usually empowers us. We want to take action on it. Now, there are so many people that have an idea and they're like, yep, let's go right to action, right? And that kind of route very often leads to unnecessary obstacles. It leads to not thinking through how to implement that action. It leads to a lot of money lost and, sometimes even like discouragement to the point where people quit because they didn't think it through, right? So the plan step in the model brings intentionality to the idea, brings a little bit thinking through and coming strategically from the clarity you talked about, right? So if I'm clear on how do I want to help people, what am I going to do, how am I going to help, where do I want to take my business, right? Why now? If I think through and take my actions from that in a little bit of a methodical way, then my implementation will be so much more fun, so much easier, so much better, because my brain will anticipate some things. Okay. The planning, and it doesn't have to be like every decision has to take you forever. There's little decisions that can take 2 minutes to make, but if you do them in this way, those serve you. Right? I truly believe when
Give me an example if you have one handy.
Sorry?
Give me a 2-minute example if you have one handy. What's
a 2-minute example? Let's just say like the simplest thing. Okay, I have this idea. Where should I market it? TikTok is now popular. Should I go there? And a lot of people do, oh, TikTok is popular. My friend is on it and they're successful. Therefore, I'm going to be there. I don't know anything about TikTok, but there you go. Let's go. Right. And then they go into spend a lot of time and effort and they don't see the results. The clients are not there. And they're like, oh, that's not working. But if we just thought about it, okay, great. TikTok is popular, but who do I serve? Are my clients there? And if the answer is no, doesn't matter that it's popular. If your clients are not there, they're not going to see you there. And all you're adding is being more busy and more work that doesn't produce any value for your clients or yourself.
That's so important, people. You really need to catch that. I mean, for me, I've got about 10, 12,000 people across social media, but it's across LinkedIn and Facebook. That's where I know my audience is. That's where I know they resonate. I've heard wonderful things about TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and I'm like, sure. And I am omni-channel in the sense that I do have a Twitter handle. I just don't use it because that's not where I find my audience.
Yeah.
Knowing that took me a minute and I was wasting a lot of time and energy doing the, you got an omni-channel. Hell, you need to post on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Zoom and just, it went nuts. And you don't, if you're doing it right and you're not just paying lip service to it, well, then I need a different post on LinkedIn to serve my audience differently than my Facebook, which can't be a repost because why did I follow you on LinkedIn if I'm following you on Facebook? Yeah. It's the same. Yeah. Can't be the same. So, oh my God. So now I need 18 new pieces of content a week. It's madness. So it gets so crazy so quickly and you haven't been successful yet. So it's not like you have the money to hire all these people that'll do this for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then there are so many business owners that then say, okay, I'm so busy, I don't have time, or I've tried it all and it's not working. But if you're trying it all without thinking
why it's not working,
why it's not working, and even if it's the right strategy for you, then again, that's just not thinking about it just wastes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and money in the end as well. Right?
Yes.
And a lot of opportunity.
And that's important that people understand that. Like, even if let's put on a different hat. Right now it's interviewee and interviewer, and we're hosting a show. And ultimately, both of us are here to do nothing else but to serve our audience, whether they're listening on radio or they're listening and watching on TV. Whatever way this can help you or serve you or inspire you or give you ideas or creativity or make even just pause for a second to reflect. Whatever value you can gain from this, please do. because it's us putting ourselves out there. There's no ask, there's no, $9.99 a minute or click the bottom link if you like what you hear. Obviously, if what Maggie says resonates with you, if you're in her avatar and someone already successful and looking for greater levels of success through clarity, she is absolutely a person you should reach out to, have a one-on-one, see if it resonates, and if you two have that compatibility, and then, go for it. Mazel tov. Go have fun. Make wonderful new things. That's the whole point of empowering entrepreneurs. No matter how you empower, somebody could be a purchaser or a promoter or a partner, and you never know where a conversation will go. So keep those conversations open, you guys. Know that these are the kinds of things that what Maggie's talking about is very universal in that setting. Look at this recording. If we take those hats off and put on another hat and go, this is wonderful social content. This is things that I can use to get my, what do they call it? My vanity numbers. Oh, I was on this talk show. Oh, we have hundreds of thousands of people viewing it. Oh, I was a big deal here. It's important. Best-selling author, this and that. So these are the vanity numbers. These are the extra things. 20,000 followers, this, that, and the other. It paints a picture about somebody. It doesn't mean you're better or worse. It's not a comparison. But if I walk into a martial art dojo and I see everyone wearing a different colored belt, I kind of have an idea that the guy in the black compared to the guy in the white belt may know something that the guy in the white belt may not. That's all it is. So in that sense, Maggie's showing you and sharing with you, this is something universal, and it absolutely applies to all of you. The same way that the ability to repurpose this content that you use, go on podcasts, go on stages, be interviewed, be in that place that you can use the banner for it. You can use a snapshot. You can use a snippet. You can use an audio bite. If you can't repurpose it in one of 17 ways, reach out to me. I will help you. If you want to repurpose yourself in your life and make sure that it goes properly in 17 ways, reach out to Maggie. She can help you. And let's continue on with that and how exactly would that work.
That's funny, but you're right. You're right. Whatever we put, I also believe that whatever we put out there in terms of, how we showcase ourselves, needs to be purposeful, intentional, and bring value, right? I truly believe that when we deliver value out there in the world, and it can be free and it can be paid and so on, right? We'll get that back. So making sure that however you want to impact the world, impact it with value.
Mm-hmm. It's key. It's absolutely key. So we've talked about the idea of dreaming it. We've talked about planning it.
Yes.
Have we discussed doing it?
So doing it. Let's quickly talk about doing it.
Notice this is a PG-rated platform, but we're okay. Continue.
Yes. Of course, there's no results without taking action. We can have the best idea and the best plan. If it's not implemented, nothing happens. And I truly believe that whatever we do, we want to have fun with it, and we want to do it in a way that's not taxing, that's not stressing us out, that's not overwhelming. And the best way to achieve that is by having some good habits. I call them high performance habits in the way you operate day to day, right? And some examples are planning things, putting things in your calendar, and kind of chunking them in a way that are not overwhelming. Sometimes we look at the project and we're like, oh my God, I will never do it. And then we procrastinate and then we never do it. Or we try to jam everything in like 1 hour. Meanwhile, the project requires 4 hours for us to do, right? So being able to chunk it up and have some good habits to scheduling it, evaluating our work. I truly believe that also we can learn from our successes and from our failures. And even if we fail, if we assess it and learn, it moves us forward still. Okay, our failures can actually move us forward towards the goals if we take time to think through what worked, what didn't, why it didn't work, what can I do differently next time, and so on. Okay, so like having a plan, putting things in the schedule, evaluating, and even starting your day well, starting your day, not looking at the screen, but actually grounding yourself somehow, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through just breath work or exercise or whatever, also is very empowering for the, the day ahead of you and being as effective as you can be.
I love that. I think we've got a summit or a symposium or some kind of conference coming up where it's failures to forward. Starting from your failures and moving forward. Because if we don't, then we're starting from our success. And if we're starting from our success, we're not acknowledging that there's no way that you had the success if you didn't have the obstacle, trial, triviality, difficulty that came. Otherwise, this is not hard earned and hard won, at which point easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
So things that are given to you have no value. And if this it was how you're like, I didn't know I could be an online coach. Neat. I went to a networking event. I said, hi, I'm an online coach. Magically 10 people signed up. I said, I charge $5,000. And they said, here you go. And I said, neat. I wonder what everyone's so concerned about. This isn't really that hard. And if you came in with that attitude, and if you genuinely knew that your back end was so beautiful that you could provide absolute value and service, and if your front end was so radically different than everybody else's, hi, I'm Maggie and I serve coaches and healers and actors, and they're going through this period in time because of this and this and this, and my best, it's a completely different story. It's a completely different feeling. No, if you're going to start off differently, you could possibly end up differently. That's neat. Like when you go to these networking events, when you go to these breakout rooms, when you go to these ways to meet other people and potentially get new clients, potentially expand your influence, potentially grow, are you a mashed potato? Are you looking like everybody else? Or are you sticking out like a French fry? Maggie, if you wanted to give people one tip for how they could stick out like a French fry, what would it be?
One tip, align with who you are. What's important to you, the values that you have, what brought you to where you are, and be true to yourself and authentic, but in the way, think again, be intentional, think through how you want to represent yourself. Make it intentional, but authentic to who you are, because truly that's the way we stand out, right? By being us. Not somebody else's, not trying to copy somebody that maybe you follow and admire because you're just the second or third or fourth best version of them. And you want to attract people who will resonate with you. And those people will be your best clients. They'll be your fans. They'll come back. They will refer others. They will get results out of whatever you teach, however you help them.
That's beautiful. I love that. That resonates very well with me. Very, very much so. Wow. So gone through what we've gone through, and Maggie's taken you all the way through this process. That if you're taking notes, if you're thinking about this, you can absolutely implement some of these ideas. We just went through an incredible, literally, if you had 2 minutes, do this exercise and put yourself in that position where if you're in your client's shoes, and they're looking at you, what do you look like? Be open, be honest, really visualize that, because it'll give you such clarity as to where you are and go, oh, crap, I might want to do this or that or the other thing. Ask yourself simple things. Have you ever gone to a networking event and seen somebody eating? That's always exciting. Or playing with their hair or their face or oh my God, do you not realize you're on camera? Do you not realize you're on camera the entire time? Here's one. You might want to smile. So much so that when you finish the damn networking event, your face hurts. You see in the chat, my God, that guy's energy was infectious. I don't know who he is. I don't know what the hell he does. I was not in a breakout room with him. I never heard him pitch his 30-second or 1 minute or 2 minute pitch. But damn it, he's just sitting there smiling in such a nice way. I love his energy. Yeah, and I reach out to connect to him. Sometimes it's so much more than just what you say, and sometimes it's literally so much less. Maggie is in a wonderful place where she can help you play with that. One of the things that she does that we haven't touched upon, and we'll go to a commercial break in a couple of minutes. I just wanted to give it a bit of background because with us, as somebody who, and if you don't know my story, I'll give you the 30-second tour. For me, I'm an energy coach and have been for the last 25 years with about 10,000 people that have come through my hands, my books, my systems, programs at that time. When I started working, and I've been playing at the highest level from Cirque du Soleil, presenting concepts for controlling your levels of energy and activation levels going up, down, and neutralize at National Coaching Certification Program, NCCP in Canada, and dozens of Olympic sports teams and athletes from around the world, where they're looking at being able to manipulate their energy at the moment. The premise is that you already know what you're supposed to be at right now. From -10 to 0 to +10, you're not new. You're good at what you do. You've done it before. This isn't your first rodeo. So, in that sense, you should absolutely be able to go, okay, I'm a speaker. I've been a public speaker for 20 years. I know right now I'm walking across the stage. There's a podium. I'm going to give a 45-minute speech and then have 15 minutes of questions and answers. Perfect. Maggie, have you done this scenario before? Have you been that public speaker and done that exact thing I'm saying?
Yes, in a virtual world.
Perfect. Yeah. Ditto. So let's do that analogy. So now, let's say you're walking across the stage before you get to the podium, energetically, from 0 to +10, energetically, where should you be?
Ideally, you want to be above the audience if you can feel them, but not too high. So like, for me, you want to be grounded and calm. I think when you're too excited, you can lose focus and so on. So you want to be on a plus, not on a minus, and a little bit above the audience, but not to the point where they will not resonate with you, right? If the audience is a certain level and we are like 10 levels more, there will be
I can tell there was a little Jack Walsh proper training in here. So that is a very classic model. Yes. You want to be 30% louder, 30% quicker. Yes. And that's where NLP and neuro-linguistic programming and a lot of the subconscious, what goes on behind the curtain stuff kicks in and goes, well, that does make sense. I don't know why. It just resonates with me. So that absolutely works. But you didn't get the question right. The question was not the second part where you're at the podium speaking, and not the third part after you've given your speak and now we're in question and answer. It's the first part. You're at the backstage curtain and you're walking 40 feet to get to the podium. What level of energy should you be at?
What level of energy? That's a trick question.
You should be at about a 2 out of 10. Because you're just walking here. What's the matter with you? You're just walking.
I don't know.
Okay. Because it's not virtual. So it's not your fault. In the physical world, because I've been on dozens, I don't even know how many stages, but in the physical world, after 25 years of doing this, I can tell you that most expert public speakers that have been doing it for 20 years, when they're walking across the stage, they're at about a 6 or 7 or 8 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Way too high. You're literally wasting emotional energy. Mm-hmm. You're draining yourself of that. So then you get there, now you're there, and you're not at a 2 out of 10, you're at an 8 out of 10, and you realize, crap, I'm way too high. You're good enough at what you do. You've been doing it long enough to know, I'm off. This is not right. Ding, 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 misconnect, misalignment. But you overcompensate. And so now you go from your +8 down to a +3. And you give the rest of your talk in a very +3 way. And unfortunately, like you said, you need to be a little above the audience. So now you haven't captured it. Mm-hmm. You're so energetically oblivious that now you're closing into the end of your talk and you go, crap, I just realized I'm over my talk. I'm too low. And we're about to go to question and answer period. And again, you overcompensate and flip to the other side. Now you're at a 6 or 7. So when somebody's asking you a simple, heartfelt question, and you're like, yeah, hurry up, get to the question, and you just bulldoze over them and they feel like you're not even listening, it's because you energetically were misaligned. And these are people I work with that have been doing this for 20 years. These are the experts in the industry, and they still make energy mistakes that are costing them money, that are costing so much of their life force. 2 out of 10 to walk across, 6 or 7 out of 10, depending on your energy. I rev high. So I would naturally be at around an 8.5 out of 10. Mm-hmm. But then afterwards, drop it down to a 4 to do the question and answer and really be present and active listening. I was able to recite things that you had said in your answer from minutes earlier because I'm actively listening. So that you don't get to do that if you're at an 8. At an 8, you're like, let's go. It's my turn to talk. I want to talk. It's my turn to talk. So we have to, So restraining them is such a big deal. But that's a simple example of where we're talking about the energy work and how it relates directly to business or personal or professional. And it's some of the work that you get to do as well. So let me preface this by saying, let's go to a quick commercial break. The Laws of Life, incredible platform. We have wonderful corporate sponsors, including Mr. Tim Marecki, lawyer of the year in my mind, and somebody who's been playing with the platform and supporting it for, I think now more than 3 years. So as a friend of the families and somebody that we know over at the Essential Academy, thank you so much for your support, sir. Let's go to a quick commercial break. Awesome. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am with the marvelous Maggie, which is probably the new way you should introduce yourself. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's a good one.
I just off the tongue. Hello, I'm marvelous Maggie. Wonderful. I have one of my instructors, someone very near and dear to me, and she created a program called Becoming Fearless. And then I said, you know what? Talk about branding. She goes, oh, I own it now. She goes, I'm now the fearless coach.
Awesome.
Bravo. And so it's beautiful when people step into that and just completely own it, because you're going to vibrate at a different frequency. And if you can hold on to that vibration long enough, all the other people around you that are vibrating at the same frequency will now be drawn to you. If you can't hold it long enough, they'll notice you and they'll be aware, I think I heard something. Oh, but it's gone. So your position is to not just put it up, but keep it up.
Very true. Very true.
If you and I didn't keep doing what you and I respectfully were doing long enough, you and I never would have met.
Yeah.
If you would have quit 6 months earlier, if I would have closed the academy 6 months earlier, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So it's about keeping it up and doing what you keep on doing, keep on going through.
Yes.
What a blessing. What a blessing. So if somebody wants to get together with you and say, okay, I'm going through this, or I need this, or I'm curious to see how you could help me or advise me in this capacity, what's the best way to reach you, Maggie?
The best way is through my website. It's stairwaytoleadership.com. So one word, stairwaytoleadership.com. I have links there to schedule like a free conversation with me. And that's the easiest way to do it.
That's awesome. You need that compatibility conversation, because everybody is in different levels. Everybody resonates at different times and different frequencies. It very, very much makes sense. So that, and we'll put contact info in the chat so that you can see it. Also, pop in a comment or two. Let us say, hey, we'd love to comment back and stuff. And I've been seeing a couple of them popping in. I've just been having the most incredible conversation, so I apologize if I haven't gotten to it. If you have any questions, you can pop them in now. Otherwise, I want to make sure that everybody knows that Maggie joining us at the Essential Academy. And if you haven't click on essentialacademy.org. You'll see a link in the bottom there. It's a private, not-for-profit, invitation-only, by referral only educational community. And what we do there that doesn't seem to be any other place that I've ever found, which is why I got a little frustrated with what my online experience was like and said, I'm going to have to create a place, because I just can't believe that I'm the only one that doesn't like working with MailChimp and Squarespace and going to a workshop that I spent 40 hours promoting and hope that 5 people show up and buy some stuff that I priced at this price and this price and this price. And I feel like I'm playing games, and I feel like I'm trying to be clever, and I don't feel like I'm giving value, and I don't want to be a used car salesman. So where we come at the essentialacademy.org is a beautiful place that if you're a student and you'd like to come and learn the most incredible courses from the most incredible instructors like Maggie, please come take a look at what the courses look like. If you are one of the most incredible people like Maggie and you'd like to consider shining your light brighter, meeting more people, being exposed, whether you need creation or whether you need promotion, we shine a very, very bright, very unique light on the most incredible people in the world that we want to work with. That's why, as a not-for-profit, one of the things that we fell in love with Maggie was, well, her background. Maggie has been volunteering in board of directors and advisory boards of charities and nonprofits, and even a percentage of her business profits is donated to the charities as well. So she really, really walks the walk, talks the talk, and can absolutely help you get your reflection, your clarity, so that you can be the best that you can be.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Well, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So that's who we are. That's where we work. That's where we play. That's where we get to come and have some fun. Next time, I believe the wonderful Blanca will come and join us, and she'll give you a little bit background, because I don't want to do it harm and injustice, but the Laws of Life platform is incredible. You got TV, you got radio, you've got print. She's got a social media company that she can help you. All that stuff we talked about earlier with omni-channel and how to post and how to get that right. You could pull your hair out, or you can call Blanca and she'll take care of it for you. It's rather painless. So there may be a few band-aids that you have on that it's about time to rip off. If anyone here, or anyone today, or anyone at the Laws of Life, or anyone at the Essential Academy can possibly help you personally or professionally, I invite you to reach out. It's only in your best interest to do so.
Yes.
Maggie, let's end today with the wonderful things that Blanca does, which is, what is your number one law of life that you like to leave for empowering entrepreneurs?
My number one law of life is leading by example. I believe that we're all leaders, whether we have teams under us or not, whether sometimes we think that leaders are only politicians or are CEOs of big companies. I truly believe we're all leaders, and the first and foremost who we lead is ourselves in our life. And leading is just bringing intentionality in what we do, why we do it, how we do it. And when we lead by example, we positively impact everybody around us. So that's my number one law of life.
That's going to get a hell yeah. Throw a hell yeah in the chat if that resonates with you. Isn't that awesome? I love it. I love it. We reserved it. We waited for a powerful moment. Yes. You know what? I'll give for my laws of life, because as you notice, I co-host this every week and we haven't missed a show yet. So now we're in, I believe, season 2, if not season 3 by now. It's getting crazy. It's getting exciting. And we'll repackage and repurpose this because that's what you're supposed to do if you want to reach more people and have that wider audience. At the end of the day, we're not selling anything. This just serves. And it really helps people. And if it can give the encouragement, or if it can give the conviction, if it can give the confidence, what a blessing. We're all in it together. The tide raises all boats. So if I was to say one empowering law of life, because my goodness, I need to come up with a new one every week, right? Just give me your top one. I'm like, what's my top one this week? I'm like, okay. My top one this week would be to kind of remind yourself that sometimes it's easier to just put on slippers than to try to carpet the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
So if things are going against you that hard, don't go against it even harder. Fighting fire with fire doesn't work. That's why the fire department uses water. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they'd use fire if fighting fire with fire would work. It does not. So put the slippers on. Don't try to carpet the whole world. It may be easier to just go with that flow. If things are in huge levels of resistance and push back against you, examine why. You may not be in alignment with your highest values. If you were, this is such easy flow. That's why it's called being in the zone. That's why it's called a state of flow. Mm-hmm. So, blessings and blessings. Wish you much love. We will see you next time on The Laws of Life, Empowering Entrepreneurs. I'm Natan Verhovsky, founder of the Essential Academy, co-host with Blanca in The Laws of Life, bringing you the wonderful Maggie Perotin, Stairway to Leadership. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you
so much, Maggie. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye, everybody.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet.